Want to see something cool?
Yeah. Well, that's too bad. Welcome! In my previous video, we talked about the Kick-Ass 1 game. If you haven't seen it, feel free to check it out at your own discretion. Link is in the description. Fair warning, it was pretty bad. Terrible visuals, terrible audio, terrible voice acting, terrible gameplay loop, terrible understanding and exhibition of the source material, and a severe lack of Nick Cage. Surely it can't get worse than that, right? Well, it has nothing on the sequel. This next game's gonna have you rolling. That is if you're like me and you roll around in your sleep.
And try to have fun. Otherwise, what's the point?
I had to get a backup computer to even play the second game. I tried it on my main rig, and it wouldn't start. And you know what? That was the best case scenario. Even at $2, the pain it would have caused me had the game successfully launched might not have been worth it. Many reviews have noted that this game has effectively damaged their computers, causing crashes, boot loops, nearly irreversible changes to resolution and default fonts, and who knows what else it could have done behind the scenes. And I'm pretty attached to my desktop as a working device. But for a laptop that has nothing on it that can get a fresh install if anything breaks, I'm saluting as I press the start button and holding the F button for all the fallen soldiers before me who weren't so lucky to get it to work without sending their rigs to hell.
It's the spirit. You are a badass.
The game starts with a voiceover and once again, cutscenes of the single frame variety, most likely to prepare you for the lack of frames you'll find during the actual gameplay. They wanted to go for a comic style here too, but apparently using the style that most every kindergarten child uses the first time they ever draw a picture.
Ah, look at the top of his head.
Also, why does Kick-Ass have a Hispanic accent?
You really want me to walk into that shop and start trading punches with those guys?
This is unironically the best voice acting in the game, and to be honest, it doesn't even set a bar to begin with. This and the rest of the voice acting is so laughably historically bad, it might legitimately take the cake for the worst in any game in all history.
Ouch!
Not bad for an amateur.
I'm sorry, Dave. I should have been there.
See you around, more.
I would say speak up on account of the music being so loud, but you know what? I prefer actually not hearing them. Imagine the opportunity to work on a game where the bar for being hired is being able to talk at a first grade level.
In plain English, without the mumbo jumbo.
If it wasn't enough for the voice acting to fall flat, the jokes fall even flatter, being mostly outdated, terrible pop culture references, and not even good ones at that.
Did you know a grease stain comes out worse than blood?
What is this, a fucking Tide commercial?
He escaped down the sewer. Head girl!
Then it's time to do our Ninja Turtle act.
He's getting away through Central Park! I wonder what took him there.
Maybe he wants to meet up with the pigeon lady in Home Alone too.
Oh, and the crowd goes fucking mild. You ever have to be around one of those people who laugh really hard at their own joke and realize all too late that everyone around them is looking at them like they just shat in the shared salad bar at a buffet? That's this fucking game.
It's like a copy of Captain America by Rob Liefeld.
Did this motherfucker, no pun intended, actually just explain the joke to the most finite detail as if that was gonna make it tolerable?
Fuck.
Also in the pre-game setup bullshit, this game talks about the first game story. Notice how in all forms of the story, including this intro, Mindy is younger than Dave.
Hit me.
You're a 15-year-old girl.
Yet the second the gameplay starts,
Don't be so chicken, Dave. When I was your age, my kill list was longer than Manfred von Richthofen's.
when I was your age? I'm sorry, Grandma. Why didn't you cap it off with a fucking back in my day while you're at it? And then there's these graphics. Like, she must have bought this game with her from the old folks' home. Because everything is legitimately hard to look at. And there are more frames on most people's walls than there are in this game. The controls are clunky, slow, unresponsive. The character fights like he's swimming through a pool of jello. Look at these punches. He's reaching into the Paleolithic era to fist bump some cavemen with those swings. A statue wouldn't have a hard time dodging this shit. The combat essentially boils down to pressing the counter button, and the counter windows are more open than a 24/7 mini-mart in Japan. If you wanted the combat from the Arkham series that had none of the excitement, character, challenge, quality, engagement, energy, adrenaline flow, or enjoyment that feels like the bootleg equivalent, while being just as hard to look at as the sun itself, then first of all, I've got a really nice white padded room that you probably feel right at home in, and a game for you to play while you're there, because this shit is made for you.
You're a positive thinker.
There are also finishes every now and again to drag out boring fights even more, like slamming someone's face into the ground a couple of times, or jamming the baton up their ass, giving the enemy some back shots, and sending the homie to bed without a goodnight kiss, as all the blood leaves his body. You also have the
Gay looking taser.
which you can use to electrocute the area around you to about as much effect as blowing air on the enemy from behind a closed door, or use it on yourself to increase your damage output, because apparently we're some kind of crank ripoff now. Is he immune to electricity? No, Kick-Ass the Wish Garden Herbs product is not designed to provide immunity to electricity. Oh, well, you know what, it's not what I was looking for, but I'm gonna use it anyway. Yes, it's a blessing that after the first group of enemies, you can pretty much just Dark Souls the game and run past everything straight to the bosses. He also, for some reason, thinks he's beyond being pummeled by the very people he's taking batons to, saying,
Bastards! I'm just a kid!
when he gets hit by a big enemy. Man expects them to just stand there and take it because he's not old enough to drink yet.
Fuck you right now.
Oh, see, he does get hurt by electricity. The game can't make up its fucking mind. And what in the goddamn did they do to my boy Jim Carrey? I know he stopped supporting the movie, but fuck, man, it's Jim Carrey. Show some respect. The guy's first big takedown in the movie inspired Reach's prison fight, for goodness sakes. Now look, that's never officially been confirmed, but come on guys, look at the cross-reference. They know what they were doing.
How ironic.
The voice actor doesn't even try to match Carrey's level of riz, going so far as calling the triad the triad.
Chinese triads.
But this is nothing compared to Genghis Carnage with what is probably the worst voice acting in the whole game.
You'll be sorry. This. We'll take care of you.
What is this mumble rap bullshit? If this wasn't done by an Asian person, it should be considered a hate crime.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
This game's credits don't actually even credit any voice actors, probably as to not further tarnish what is very likely the start and end of a career as a voice actor. But on IMDb, the game credits the voice to Eric Bowser. That's right, Bugs Bunny himself.
New York Bronx thing you got going on?
All right.
And if that's Eric Bowser, then I'm Mark fucking Hamill. It also credits Yuri Lowenthal as Kick-Ass. There is as low a chance that I'll shit pure gold in my lifetime as there is that being the voice of Insomniac's Spider-Man.
No, that's why we broke our friends. You have like zero personality.
Almost as soon as you meet the other heroes, it skips ahead to the part where Colonel Stars and Stripes is Natsuki'd by Mother Russia. Only they shift things up and have him die catching a bullet for Kick-Ass instead. Now, I've seen some pretty bad disrespect to source materials before. At least the first game pretended well enough that it had anything to do with the comics and movies. But this? We need a Mount Doom to cast this shit into. Pull Gollum out, for crying out loud. He was a mess, but he didn't have shit on this.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Instead of Dave's dad dying and being the subject of the funeral like the movie, it's now for Colonel Arson White, and instead of the highway rescue led by an out-of-costume Mindy having to console a guilt-ridden Dave, she says, "Let's go!" and he does a generic superhero strip into his costume, and she's also wearing hers.
Alrighty then.
There's nothing exciting or emotional whatsoever, no self-doubt or conflict, and no trace of an explanation as to how. The level takes you through a location that's actually on the surface of the fucking sun, and then you fight the tumor. No, not the game itself, the character. And then the movie's giant final showdown is reduced to a pathetic gang street fight with no other heroes in sight except the hit girl, who's taken a knee for now, leaving you to fight Mother Russia again. The adrenaline slideshow happens, lacking any real adrenaline, ironically, along with this absolute travesty.
Let me see your war face. Bullshit! You didn't convince me!
The motherfucker is reduced to a generic boss fight. Not that we expect anything less from this point. It's even more embarrassing for him when you use your electric power-up to shock yourself, because I forgot to mention, it also has a hidden side effect of sometimes accidentally making you invulnerable and actually healing you when you're hit, making this less of a boss fight and more like when you play games with your younger sibling and try to go easy on them so they don't feel bad. Then Kick-Ass throws him into the shark tank. Definitely not reflective of his hero moment where he tried to save him and Chris nearly broke his hand to die as an evil Jesus. It's just wrong. The game paints Kick-Ass as vengeful and ruthless and it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But in all fairness, if you're eating a plate of shit to begin with, it'd be foolish to expect another outcome. And well overdue, the game ends never having achieved anything of value at any point. And that's it. Surely the worst superhero game, nay, worst game of all time. This game makes even Rise of Kong a passable or even fun experience. It's absolutely shocking to not see this game on more lists for the worst games out there. It took 2 games to bury The Walking Dead, but it didn't even take half of this game to bury Kick-Ass.
That's where they slit the throat, cut the heart out.
If you want to experience the feeling that Kick-Ass would have gone through when he was being tortured on live TV in the first movie, then you know what? Yeah, I recommend this game. When your significant other asks you to talk dirty to them, you say, Kick-Ass 2. And when they say, huh? You say, the game. Jesus Christ, they said dirty, not polluted, you fuck! Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, then feel free to press the buttons to keep you up to date with my future content and support my channel. That's how YouTube knows my stuff is tolerable after all, so I'd appreciate it. More videos coming soon.